Seldom in the history of Australian Parliament have so many watched and listened for so long with so much interest. We're talking, of course, yesterday about the 59 minutes that Craig Thomson answered his detractors. I don't think any of the detractors were happy with the answer, though. Joining us now, Josh Frydenberg, Liberal MP, to discuss this. Obviously, you were sitting in the House and glued to every word, Josh.
Yes, I was. There was a full side of the chamber where we sat. A few Labor members turned up, but it was a very serious moment for the Parliament. It was also quite sad, really, because obviously these allegations are having a real personal toll on Craig Thomson, and that came out during his speech. But I mean, I think the key point was that there are a lot of questions that still remain unanswered, and what Craig Thomson didn't do yesterday was explain why he hasn't cooperated with the police, why he hasn't cooperated with Fair Work Australia. And it was very unfortunate that the government decided to gag debate when we wanted to debate the statement and try to identify the inconsistencies between the statement and also the findings of Fair Work Australia.
Although in reality, was that unfortunate? Because quite frankly, as a taxpayer, I've forked enough money out for you people to sit around there mithering on about this business. I mean, isn't it time now just to set it aside and get on with running the country?
Well, look, this is part of running the country, unfortunately, because the government, despite kicking Craig Thomson out of caucus, they're still relying on his vote in the Parliament, and without that vote, they won't be able to govern. And we know how bad this government is, and we know that if they weren't in a minority situation on the floor of the House, they wouldn't be treating Craig Thomson the way that they are.
Yep. All of that is true, Josh, but they're not going to kick him out. Nothing you do now is going to see them kick him out. So why don't we just move on with running the country?
Well, look, these are very serious allegations, and we know that, you know, tens of thousands of health services union members have had their money wasted.
And that's being looked at. It's not for Parliament to look at that, though, is it? It is time to move on. I want to talk about one of the things that you said. You said it was very sad. What we saw yesterday was very sad. I agree with you. It appears to me, looking from the point of view of an outsider, as though he's deluded. I believe he firmly believes everything he is saying is absolutely true, and that he's the underdog. I would actually feel somewhat for his health and sanity.
I mean, I absolutely feel for his health and sanity, and I just hope that the right people are giving him the sort of attention and care that he does need, because you could see it on his face in the Parliament yesterday when he nearly broke down a couple of times. Obviously the toll that had taken on his family is very great, and it's ongoing. And I thought it was very telling when he said he would only he would have been very happy with 3 weeks of front page stories about this issue rather than really what has been, you know, more than 3 years.
I suppose the real question now amongst Liberals such as yourself is, has Craig Thomson misled Parliament?
Well, that is a really serious question because, as you know, the Parliamentary Privileges Committee has the ability to take very stern action against a member for misleading Parliament. This is why, to be honest, Paul, we wanted to debate the statement yesterday in the Parliament. That's why some of the independents wanted to support us in doing so. But unfortunately, the government gagged debate. And I just don't know what they're running from, because the quicker we have a debate, the quicker we identify the inconsistencies in the statement, the quicker then the Parliamentary Privileges Committee may be required to intervene here.
But isn't that exactly what they're running away from? They don't want quick, they want long. They want to pad out to the next election.
I think that's right, and they couldn't explain the key question is that why they say Craig Thomson is entitled to a presumption of innocence, but on the other hand, they decided to kick him out of caucus. They couldn't answer those two questions.
There are a lot of unanswered questions here, and I fear probably many of them will never be answered. Josh Frydenberg, Liberal MP, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks very much, Paul.